this epidemic is not only threatening human lives, but also disrupting various economic and business activities, including Sharia-based economic and business activities. That our area and our topic today. This kind of condition, well, of course, rise the awareness that one of the business activities no longer has to be carried out conventionally. Innovation and creativity are needed now to increase competitiveness and expand business reach. Therefore, the use of technology is very important to support business. Several banking industries have begun to take advantage of digital to continue providing services to their customers. In addition, financial technology has shown a very rapid development, in particular in the period of the pandemic, and not only in the financial services, but also nowadays several companies have used digital application that can be used by public to buy daily necessities. So the point is, technology shows an important role in supporting human life, especially in the midst of many limitations due to the current COVID-19 pandemic. Financial technology is important, but perhaps it is part of the important pillars of the digital Islamic economy. So that's why perhaps I ask everyone also to focus in wider issues, which is very much related to digital Islamic economy landscape. This is very important background for the topic, our topics today. Well, of course, it's not only related to the Islamic finance. As I mentioned earlier, I try to bring this from wider perspective, which is very much Islamic digital economy. So, Islamic economy, as we all know, has made progress in the global economy. The contribution to GDP gradually increasing. The IOC countries are the place where digital transformation and new creation are realized. As we know, demand for the production and consumption of product and services of Islamic in accordance with Islamic tradition keep increasing. And as we know as well that Muslims represent around 23% of global population. So we expect the total will be exceeded 2.2 billion by 2030. And around 80% Muslim are concentrated in Asia, Middle East, and Africa. The region that we know is very dynamic region and full of growth potential. So Muslim community has also very young. The structure of the average age is around 23 years. Yes, full of young, energetic, dynamic population. That's why digital issue is very much in line with young people. Young population is prone to technology literacy, so they are a candidate to be pioneer of the implementation of digital Islamic services and initiatives in the future. So we have a lot of advantage being a young population of the Islamic community. On the other side, growth of digital economy, as we may aware already, perhaps that will be reach 4.3 trillion US dollar in 2020. And then as far as the digital Islamic economy concerned, now it's around 277 billion US dollars according to the Reuters 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know, Islamic finance is only one of the important pillars of Islamic digital economy. And we know Islamic finance is not standalone. That's why perhaps to bring this into wider perspective, how to see Islamic economic as a whole, I think it is also very important how then the implementation of digital economy can be implemented further in the future?
So the role of technologies is first to assure the trust of the customer, so that what they eat, that what they consume, they are sure that what they consume and eat is halal or comply with the Sharia, and integrity, that the whole process of this value chain comply to Islamic law, and transparency. Yeah, so that means each of these steps of the process we can get information from them. If there is problems or not halal, it can be earlier detected, and performance optimization of the process. And if we bring those technologies together, we have these communities or ecosystem consisting of business, customer, Islamic scholar, government, and scientists. And we have this landscape as presented by Deloitte, and the Islamic finance, which is the financial technologies, is the enabler, because of those service needs in order to be consumed by these actors, need some kind of finance or payment or transactions. So the technologies that address from the previous slide, for the transparency, we can use Internet of Things, for example, the integrity to ensure that there is no changes during the or manipulation during the chain. So the integrity, we use blockchain, and AI for the performance optimization. And what's important for the trust is that we need some kind of knowledge base where the Islamic scholars and scientists' point of view can be harmonized and then formalized in form of knowledge base, so that the customer can just access this knowledge base to validate whether their product or what they consume comply with the Islamic law. So of course, this will be through some services, digital services here.
Okay, so basically in this slide, what I would like to highlight is basically the fact that indeed, as also mentioned by Prof. Hendro and also Prof. Muliaman Hadad, the fact that indeed the most important thing, how can we create a one-stop solution that would cover, all aspects of our activities. Just to name a few, some examples of the fintech, Sharia fintech. And okay, what's in it for the society? This pictures just basically highlights that borderless opportunity is, and as change is being embraced, because Muslim world is actually it's a quite huge market. Secondly, there's already some sort of convergence between ethical and Islamic finance. So basically this is quite relevant. And the next is about basically, technology will create ways that it's not rigid anymore. So you can do it anywhere, anytime, and you can even tailor-make things with your own personal touch. And last but not least, it's a truly versatile solution that does not only work for the Islamic world, because I think we can also serve the greater sort of market. Like what I show here is, what I'm trying to show here is the kebab, because kebab is not only eaten by sort of. Just to recap, first of all, market size big and growing, beyond addressable markets. Know-how is already available in place. Let's try to basically build this sort of community. Infrastructure is established, and there's already sort of a platform that is enabling us to do this anywhere in the world. And back to the know-how, in MES Germany, I think there's quite a lot of potential sort of colleague there that can also help out. And then use case, indeed, there's a lot of big of use case given our sort of awareness of the technology and how to use it. Last but not least, how can we ensure the role towards society that is compatible not only to the Islamic world but also globally, I mean in general. Just to recap, first of all, market size big and growing, beyond addressable markets. Know-how is already available in place. Let's try to basically build this sort of community. Infrastructure is established, and there's already sort of a platform that is enabling us to do this anywhere in the world. And back to the know-how, in MES Germany, I think there's quite a lot of potential sort of colleague there that can also help out. And then use case, indeed, there's a lot of big of use case given our sort of awareness of the technology and how to use it. Last but not least, how can we ensure the role towards society that is compatible not only to the Islamic world but also globally, I mean in general.
I want to talk about the vision behind fintech and why we should actually use Islamic fintech. This is important because everything starts with the vision. And if we don't bring the vision inside of all of us, it's very difficult then to imagine the path, the way that we need to take. During the previous history, for any nation to rise and become, if you want, a global nation, there has to be some material parts that you need to possess. And we as a Muslims, we had our part, for almost maybe 900 years. We ruled over the world, from China to Indonesia to Europe as a one nation. And we had Islam behind us to take us there at that time. When we went to the European Revolution, the Industrial Revolution, what they call it, the first revolution, they also had the means to do that at that time. And from that time, when the Industrial Revolution came in, it was very difficult for the rest of the world to catch up with Europe and the Western world. Why? Because it was very difficult to obtain the know-how and to obtain the capital needed to develop very fast. Now we're reaching a point in our history when we are on what we call now the fourth industrial revolution. And this one is quite special. Why? Because at the moment now in our history, at this point of time in the history, we as a nation and the entire world can actually have access to the know-how and have access to the capital, meaning that it's no longer need $1 billion capital to set up a business that can go global in 2 years, right? This changes in the infrastructure of the economies bring a huge opportunity, right? Before, if you want to create a global business, you need 50 years. Now you can create a global business in 2 years. You become a billion company in 2 years. That is possible. And that's what financial technology, that's what's happening at the moment. So you can sit down, all of you now, and think about a solution that you can create the digital part of it, and think about how you can take this company into a billion company in 2 to 3 years. How you can take this company, not only service Indonesia, but service the entire world, as brother now Nicky was saying, right? Don't think about a solution only for the Muslims. We have, as a Muslim, Allah has brought us to this universe to serve the entire humanity, right? So while we serve our Muslims, brother, but also we want to actually reach out and provide a solution to everybody. And every one of you now has the means. You have the know-how. If you don't know how the know-how, the government's now actually offering you the infrastructure, the service, the potential, the funding, everything is there for you to grab the opportunity. You just need to rise up and build up these solutions and push it forward. So this is the vision that we should have. And on the back of that, we build then on what we want to do.